Hello and welcome to the second part of the simHq DCS blackshark preview series. This is Beach Aviator here, and we're going to take a brief look at some of the KA-50 systems today on a short ride around the local area. And we'll go ahead and start our rolling takeoff. You'll have to excuse me for my poor flying because I recorded this in real time. I didn't save this as a track and play it back. I just wanted to sort of go with the flow of things, and there are some parts of this video that are clipped together where I ended up getting distracted and crashing, so you'll have to forgive the lack of continuity in some certain sections. Okay, so we're en route to our first steer point, and the Ekron comes up here with a message: perform nav position fix. It's just reminding me that I have a preset INS waypoint coming up soon, and to prepare to update the INS. You can see we're 19 kilometers from that waypoint. So we go down to the control panel down here. We select the waypoint number 1, the actual INS waypoint number 1, where we're going to do our update. And what we're going to do is get it in sight and fix our location over that and enter it in there, and basically that updates the INS and corrects any errors that have accumulated. There you can see my short stop, and I indicate the rotor RPM, and you get a warning there. So there's the bridge that I picked as the INS update waypoint. It's simple to see that kind of geographic feature. Now I've entered into the stable hover hold mode, as reflected through the HUD and the HSI. The little square in the HUD and the cross on the HSI just indicates how far I've drifted from my stable hover hold position. It's a good way for station keeping, particularly when you have internal duties to do. You can sort of let the airplane fly itself. So while I'm hovering here, I noticed that my ABRIS symbol there is flying across the map at 800 kilometers per hour, and I know that's not the case because I'm in a hover. So I go to my ABRIS GNSS page, and it shows 4 satellites, and there at the top it says threshold, which basically means that I don't have enough satellites. I'm so close to these mountains that I'm not getting a good satellite signal. So the ABRIS is going screwy, which just reinforces the reason that you need to have an INS system installed. There you can see the moving map is sliding all over, even though I'm in a hover. And that was confusing for me. I didn't know about all that stuff, so I turned the ABRIS off and went ahead and went back to my inertial system. Like any good pilot, I just figured that I had missed a switch or something. I'm very unfamiliar with this cockpit, so of course I look around, and turning the ABRIS off and on, that's a typical pilot reaction to something that doesn't work. Just reboot it. And you can see the ABRIS is rebooting there. Keeping an eye on my fuel level here. Hovering takes up a lot of fuel, and just have to keep an eye on it. Oh, I forgot to test my Ekron warning system earlier, so hit that button.
Речевой информатор исправен.
So now I'm just waiting for the ABRIS to come back up and looking around the cockpit to see if I've forgotten to switch or not put something on. Still have a nav error when it comes back up for obvious reasons. So I go check the GNSS page again, and sure enough, there's still 4 satellites there, and things aren't looking good. Target. It's a shame I wasn't on a weapons training mission. And sure enough, after hovering in place here for 15 minutes, trying to troubleshoot and exiting out and checking my manual and trying to learn what was going wrong, we're getting the satellite back. There's a 5th satellite there, came into view. So I go back into my flight plan and just make sure that I've cycled to the next waypoint, since it automatically didn't cycle due to the fact that it didn't know where it was. So now I'm looking at the map there, getting ready to head up on leg 2. And another juicy target there running across the railroad bridge. So alright, let's head off to steer point number 2. You can see how familiarization with the systems is going to be particularly important with this sim. I have the luxury of doing all this without there being a hostile environment or a wingman to worry about or any tactical situation. So there is a lot to do and a lot to learn, and practice is going to make perfect with this sim. So we're flying up the valley here to the northeast. The elevation is increasing. You can see the terrain here is fantastic for ambushes and tactical considerations. This is going to be a lot of fun to fly in a combat environment. So we're coming up on the lake that I had put my waypoint on for the second leg. And now we'll go ahead and climb up over the high mountain pass here en route to the third waypoint. There we have a warning for exceeding the maximum velocity. And cancel that, and the light stays illuminated. Now we're 2 kilometers from the fourth waypoint. I'm in autopilot mode that allows for route following. You can see it's following it on its own. So now we're coming up on the second inertial waypoint. Again, I've chosen a bridge because those are so easily recognizable. And we're going to come into a steady hover over it. Again, the Ekron is showing to perform the navigation fix, so we go to the INS update waypoint 2, the INS waypoint 2, and then we hit the Shkval target lock, and that finishes up the INS update. So we'll head on back to base now and bring her in for a landing. You can see that navigation capabilities of the Ka-50 are very substantial, and they've simulated almost all of it. The ABRIS, the INS, haven't even touched on things like NDB navigation, radio beacons, things of that nature, altering flight plans. You can alter those INS waypoints in flight. Obviously you can use the ABRIS to a much more maximum capability, including combat stuff. So we'll hit some of that later on, and hopefully you've enjoyed this really short, abbreviated, and not too educational video. And we'll get to some more stuff in subsequent versions of the DCS preview series. Thanks for joining me.